So now I can imagine what people say at this moment. They say, well, I talk to God, but I don't hear him back. I don't know what he's saying to me. And I get that. I struggle with that with most of my life, especially because I grew up in a tradition where it was kind of taught to me that God speaks to me through his word, but that's about it. And I didn't realize that he could actually speak to me through anything, through nature, through a song, be it Christian or not, through movies, through books, through a friend, through a sunset, through the sound of a Formula One engine. He can speak to me anyways. I mean, if he could speak to people through Balaam's donkey, why would we limit him in any way? But the question is, do we recognize him speaking to us? And that's where I struggled for so many years, recognizing what he was saying to me. And so if you're in that spot, what I want to encourage you to do is open up your word, open up the Bible again. Now, I think what's happened is a lot of us have grown up under that religious tradition that I grew up under was you were told, thou shalt read your Bible. And it became onerous and it became a law and a commandment. And it just felt like I wasn't doing it enough. And for a time, I kind of put it aside and I just stopped reading it. But then when I opened it up again and I began to read it with a different motive, I didn't read it to please God. I didn't read it to get a check mark in Sunday school. I didn't read it to please anybody. I read it so that I could know my Father. Because you see, the Bible is an autobiography. It's more than a history book. It's more than a book of theology. It's an autobiography written by God about who he is to us. And so start reading your Bible. And if you're not sure where to begin, a great place would be the epistles. Start in this book of Ephesians. Go back to the beginning and read through the book of Ephesians or Galatians or Colossians and get to know who Jesus is and how he's going to direct us. Because now what happens is you might be going through your day and you're faced with a crossroads and you're not sure which way to go. And then suddenly you remember a verse. Somewhere you remember something you read. And that will be God bringing to your mind what he wants to do. And what happens is the longer you practice this, the longer you're turning and you're talking with Jesus, the more you begin to recognize his voice. And so I sit here today saying that I know and recognize his voice far more today than I did 20 years ago or 30 years ago when I sat in my parents' garage. And I look forward to 30 years from now, looking back on this moment and recognizing that I've grown in understanding his voice. Because he's always speaking to us. We just don't always recognize it, that that's what he's doing.